Guys, we were just talking about the Pacers, and the Pacers made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. The Celtics will try to join them there for a second straight year, but the Celtics got 2 more wins to get to that point, and the Pacers, they are locked in for a second consecutive trip to the Eastern Conference Finals. As the Pacers closed out the Cavaliers in 5 games, they dropped game 3 at home. Cavs, that was a must-win. No team has ever come back from down 3-0 in NBA history, so that was a must-win for the Cavs. They get the job done. And the Cavs, they really controlled the pace in that game 3, no pun intended. But then the Pacers, they come back in game 4. They slap around the Cavs. They're up by 40 points. It was not even close. I turned the game off because I was just like, why am I watching all these backups? And then you go to game 5. The Cavs have everyone. That was the storyline from the first 2 games, was all the players that the Cavs were missing between Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter. But then everyone was there, 3, 4, and 5, including in game 5. The Cavaliers, they came out hot in game 5. They got out to, I believe it was an 18-point lead is the highest that it got in the first half. But then to end that first half, the Pacers chipped away, and they ended up trailing by 3 points going into halftime, had all the momentum. The floodgates open in the third quarter. The Pacers cannot be stopped, and they go on to close out the top seed Cavaliers. 64 wins from Cleveland this year, all for naught, all just for a second-round elimination. But the Pacers are moving on to the Eastern Conference Finals for the second straight year. And I'm going to switch things up here on you guys, and I'm going to toss it to Kevin first. And the reason why I'm going to toss it to Kevin first is we remember from that first-round series, and I mentioned this last week, but that first-round series between the Pacers and the Bucks, it was like, all right, the Pacers are going to move on because it's what the Bucks are not. But now after we see what the Pacers just did to the top seed Cavaliers, Kevin, are the Pacers real contenders? I think that's the real question.
No, they also got gift wrapped a stimulus package to the WCF. We saw all the games that Darius Garland didn't get to play, Evan Mobley, DeAndre Hunter, a whole second half of no Donovan Mitchell. And the Pacers still, with a full healthy team, almost lost the game 2 to only Donovan Mitchell. So if I was a Pacers fan, I really wouldn't be feeling too great. But, they got another stimulus package with Jason Tatum going down. And if the Knicks play the Pacers, I don't know who I'd take in that series because the Knicks are up and down just as much as the Pacers are. But like I said, the Pacers go as far as Tyrese Halliburton will take them. And it's great to see, being a Kings fan, seeing him flourish. But I don't think they're a championship team if health doesn't come into it. But you can only play the guys that are out there. So you have to give credit where credit is due. Tyrese Halliburton gets this team going. The only team in NBA history as a team to shoot 50-40 from the field or from 3. So they got a gang full of bucket getters. And not having Benedict Mathurin last year, I said that every time we talk about the Pacers has been a huge improvement to this team. Another year of Pascal, another year of Miles Turner. This team is really well built. So what they will do against either the Celtics or the Knicks, I don't know who I would take in that series because it's not done yet. But the Pacers are doing great. But you also have to have an asterisk by it because of the ends that they did foresee. So you have to give credit where credit is due. Tyrese Halliburton is taking a team that no one thought would be here 2 years in a row. So hats off to them. And, we'll kind of see how it goes when it all plays out. Either they're going to play the Celtics again or the Knicks and kind of go from there.
Well, Jaevon, the Pacers are who the Celtics would see in the Eastern Conference Finals for a second straight season if your team was able to claw all the way back without Jason Tatum. But aside from the personal bias, just how are you feeling about this Pacers team as they now advance back to the ECF for the second time in a row?
Overrate that. Tyrese Halliburton was one of those guys that – what did you say, Kevin? You say something, Kevin?
No, I thought you were talking the run was overrated. I was going to say, but the Celtics wasn't, but you're talking about Tyrese Halliburton, so I'll fix my face.
Kevin is always ready to
get on you.
He's ready to say something. There was a poll that came out. I don't even think it was a quarter of the league, maybe like an eighth, that came out and voted and said Tyrese Halliburton was one of the most overrated players in the NBA. But he's somehow back, and Kevin and I have gone back and forth about him, LaMelo, like top guards in the East who we would rather take. And there are guys that came up like LaMelo. There's guys like Cade. There's, younger guys, just different guards that have came up in conversation. But Halliburton's back in the Eastern Conference Final somehow, some way, God willing. And this was a guy who was on the USA team, didn't play, was flexing his medal. Made a cool little post about him saying, when you put your name on the group project, that you get an A. But he's in the Eastern Conference Finals. So, I mean, they're doing something right. I love how the team is constructed. You got to give credit to Coach Rick Carlisle, the way how he's kind of an offensive genius, and the way that this Pacers team playing guys like Nimhard, I think averaging double digits, 15 to 17 points, something like that. Pascal Siakam's been playing out of his ass. There's been a bunch of as audio-only listeners, Shaun put up a picture of a shirt that says "Overrate That." Were they wearing that in the stadium? Was that, or is that just
no? But right after Cleveland lost that series, Pat McAfee was interviewing Tyrese Halliburton on his show, and Pat McAfee was wearing that shirt because someone sent it to his office.
That's so tight. Yeah, Pat, just a big Indiana guy because obviously played for the Colts.
Hey, maybe Shaun will be a big Indiana guy one day too. I don't know. Yeah. Knock on wood. Let's
Shaun might have to put in his 2 weeks, as Kevin is. But this team, man, I mean, just you got guys everywhere, and obviously Kevin's already mentioned Benedict Mathurin, who was out for the entire playoff run last year due to injury, but now he's been out making plays happen. Can't forget on our guy TJ McConnell, who's been playing lights out for them. So Halliburton might not be a guy that's going to average 30 in a series, but best believe he does have his hand in the offense. He's in charge of the flow of the offense, just the way how the game goes. He's controlling pretty much everything. And I think that can go a long way rather than just looking at a stat sheet saying, oh, he only had this amount of plays. He might not be a guy you put on your prize pick lineup, but he's going to get you the promised lands one way or another. So as for the Cavs, I mean, Mitch averages 35 for the series. When guys were healthy, they didn't show up. I mean, we heard Darius Garland say a couple of comments about Tyler Hero in the previous series. What are you guys looking for on offense? Oh, we're just going to go at Tyler Hero. Okay. Well, guess what we're going to do? Cavs, we're going to go at Darius Garland. I mean, this is another year that the Cavs really don't show up. I mean, I think last year Garland was dealing with injury. Mobley kind of wasn't coming into his own yet. This year was kind of a little bit flat. I mean, Donovan Mitchell, you can't really put this on him because he did everything in his power to try and raise this team to a victory, but they come up short again. So now you're kind of like, what does the Cavs' future look like? Are they going to have to blow it up, maybe move some guys around? Because this is the second year in a row that they haven't really been able to get the job done, and they were the number 1 seed this past year. So what is this Cavs team going to look like moving forward? And I think Ty Jerome just lost $40 million.
At least
30 to 40 million. I mean, he was a guy that people were saying, oh, he's going to make $80 million, $90 million. And, this next series comes around, where's Ty Jerome? So I think he's going to get paid, but I don't think he is what a lot of people were deeming him to be as. I think they kind of lean towards a Peyton Pritchard. I don't think he's Peyton Pritchard. Maybe a step below that. But Peyton Pritchard got on a team-friendly deal. We kind of got him a little bit early. So if he kind of would have waited a year, he'd be like $100 million guy. So this Cavs team is I think it's gonna be a lot different come next year. But congrats to the Pacers. They're going to the Eastern Conference Finals again.
Yeah, the Pacers are legit. And the thing about this Pacers squad is it's just a bunch of guys that fit together. And we know that Rick Carlisle, he is a championship head coach, as he took down the Heatles in their first year, and he got his NBA championship by doing so. And so, great coach. They got an all-star floor. They got 2 all-stars on that team between Halliburton, obviously, and then also Pascal Siakam. And then you surround that with players who fit around them. That's a winning formula for the Pacers. And so I'm really interested to see how they do in the Eastern Conference Finals this year, whether if it's against the hobbled Boston Celtics or if the WWE storyline of Jalen Brunson versus Tyrese Halliburton
That was
comes
so
to
crazy.
fruition. Man, it was crazy. Like,
They didn't even do anything to each other, obviously, probably because they got contracts and billionaires behind them. Like, y'all ain't gonna do shit to each other.
Well, the fun, I guess it's fun now in hindsight, but the fun backstory behind that whole segment on WWE television, I think it was back in September, is that, or it might have been a little earlier. Point being, I think it was over the summer last year. Anyways, so Jalen Brunson was still recovering from a wrist injury, like when he did that segment. And so then he went and grabbed a steel chair for the segment, and he gets into the ring, and he's sliding into the ring, and he's holding the steel chair, but in the process, he's putting weight on that wrist. And so after that happened, a bunch of Knicks fans were like, "Oh my God, like get him out of there. Don't let him mess up his wrist." And it's cool now because you have Tyrese Halliburton potentially going up against Jalen Brunson and the Knicks in the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's like that was a foretelling of things to come. And also the most ironic part about it too is that Tyrese Halliburton was alongside Logan Paul, who people can feel how they want about him. I used to hate him, but him coming into WWE, he actually earned my respect because he just displayed his athleticism that he has and that he's a naturally gifted athlete. But what I was trying to get to is that Tyrese Halliburton just eliminated Logan Paul's favorite team, being the Cleveland Cavaliers. And so it's ironic that they were teamed up together, and then Tyrese took out his team. And anyways, I'm going off on a random tangent. It's time to get